Sunday, April 12th. NHL standings, Velcro board update. No video yesterday. The 6 to 8 people who watch my videos for about 58 seconds per view might be wondering, hey Kyle, hey nervous vet, how come there wasn't a video yesterday? Well, if you all watched hockey, you would know. There were no games on Friday to talk about. So we didn't make a video. Because there's obviously not going to be any movement. I mean, I could have picked some other niche topic to talk about for 20 minutes like these videos usually are. But you know what? At this point, I'm kind of doing this for me, and that's cool. So we'll talk about stuff when stuff happens. And today, stuff happened. We had quite a few games yesterday. And I think a lot of teams clinched and a lot of teams are eliminated. So let's get right into the scores. Pretty big game kicking us off. We had the Lightning at Boston. The Lightning are in a three-way race here in the Atlantic. They're only separated by a couple points, trying to win the division with only a few games left. Playing against Boston, who has lost several games in a row in the wild card and is watching their nice, comfortable cushion disappear. Lightning got a 2-1 victory, and that was in regulation. Another important game here in the wild card. As you know, as we've discussed many times, from here to about here has been a very tightly contested race. We had the Ottawa Senators playing against the New York Islanders, and the Ottawa Senators are able to take care of business 3-0. Another pretty important game in the Eastern Conference, another potential matchup later on down the road. Pittsburgh Penguins, second place in the Metropolitan Division, hosting the Washington Capitals, who are kind of in a do-or-die situation down here. However, the Washington Capitals were able to get a 6-3 victory. So, Penguins have already clinched. Washington Capitals continue to fight and claw towards that wild card spot. But we'll talk about the wild card here in just a moment. Pacific Division Showdown. This looks like it was a complete barn burner of a game. But the Edmonton Oilers, another team that have clinched recently, played against the LA Kings, who are currently holding down that final wild card spot. This was Kopitar's final regular season game in his home stadium, so that was kind of a heartfelt moment that I shared on my Instagram, is like seeing him embrace the fans one last time in a home playoff game, and who's to know and who's to say if they actually make the playoffs. That's another tight race that we'll get into, but the Kings at home were able to secure a 1-0 victory over the Oilers in regulation. Moving along, New Jersey Devils travel to Detroit. Devils didn't have a horrible year. They just played in the Eastern Conference, which is murderer's row, but they are mathematically eliminated. Played against the Detroit Red Wings, who were in dire need of a win. Detroit doing Detroit things and losing a bunch of games at the worst time of the year. And today was no different. They lost 5-3 at home to the New Jersey Devils and are officially eliminated from playoff contention once again. Sorry, Red Wings fans. Blues and the Blackhawks. The Blues weren't eliminated going into this video, which I'm not sure if they were or not. I don't think so. They were on their last leg. They had been losing to teams above them in the wildcard race, no less. But they traveled to Chicago and they got a 5-3 victory over the Chicago Blackhawks. Potential Western Conference playoff matchup here in the Minnesota Wild. Third place, very comfortable third place in the Central Division, playing against Nashville, fighting to get into the playoffs. Nashville was able to secure a 2-1 regulation victory, so they're hanging tight with the Kings in that race. Next game was a tale of second best team in the Western Conference, Dallas Stars, taking on the worst team in the East, New York Rangers, who have been playing better hockey as of late. But the Stars were able to get a 2-0 shutout at home against Rangers. Hurricanes played the newly clinched Utah Mammoth, Carolina was able to get a 4-1 victory in Utah. Panthers and Maple Leafs in the Disappointment Bowl. These are two teams that were very much at the top of the Eastern Conference last year, and they faced each other in Toronto, and the Florida Panthers were able to get a 6-2 victory. Do or die situation for the Columbus Blue Jackets as they travel to Montreal. Columbus, as you know, if you've watched the videos, has fallen from grace. They fell from second or third in their division race, looking really good, to losing like 6 out of 7 games or whatever and falling way down here to like the third team out. But they were able to finally get back in the win column, and as they beat the Montreal Canadiens 5-2. Last game here, this is probably an elimination game for the Winnipeg Jets, but the Flyers traveled to Winnipeg, and the Flyers decimated the Winnipeg Jets 7-1. So Winnipeg is in a must-win situation here. They can't be dropping games by 6 freaking goals. They did, so it's not looking good, but we'll see who's in and who's out here in just a few moments. Got 3 more games to discuss. Calgary Flames traveled to Seattle. Seattle was able to secure a 4-1 victory, but a little too late for Seattle, man, I gotta say. Golden Knights traveled to Denver, played the Colorado Avalanche, and Golden Knights, hate them, love to see them lose, love to see them falter. Doesn't happen often. They didn't have a great year, but you know what? None of the division had a great year. They were able to pull off a 3-2 overtime win over the best team in hockey, and I'm pretty sure that they're probably right in the mix for a playoff berth. We'll see if they got it. And then lastly, we had the Canucks and the Sharks in a shootout. Canucks, the worst team in hockey. San Jose Sharks in no position to drop points to teams that are way in the basement, but they did. They ended up losing 4-3 in a shootout. So Sharks, Jets. Sharks and Jets. Man, y'all suck. Alright. So anyway, that's all the games. Let's look at the standings, see if we got any movement, see who's in, who's out, and what we got left. Wild card standings, man. Alright, kicking us off. And if you hear a cat yelling, it's because I'm outside and he's got separation anxiety. Got Colorado with 115 points. They have the President's Trophy. We have the Dallas Stars with 108 points. And we have Minnesota with 102 points. I don't think this has moved at all since I laid it out for the wild card standings. In the Pacific Division, we have the Vegas Golden Knights now leading with 91 points, Edmonton with 90, and Anaheim with 89. So we'll switch these. Vegas Golden Knights look like they could have been out looking for a wild card here somewhat recently, but they've been able to put it together. I don't think they've lost a game since getting a new coach. No, they have. They've lost one game, but they think they've won 4 of 5. So good on them. In the wild card, we have Utah still with a 3-point advantage over the LA Kings, who are holding on to the final spot. Nashville still only 1 point out, so we still have a race in the West. Not so much after that, unfortunately. This stays the same here, but Winnipeg and San Jose not technically out yet. They've only played 79 games at this point. Since Winnipeg and San Jose both lost, they would effectively need LA, who's currently on a 4-game winning streak, to lose out, Nashville to lose out, and one of them to win out. So in other words, by the end of today, both of them should be mathematically eliminated because that shit's not happening. So getting into the teams who are mathematically eliminated, no movement, but St. Louis is done. 80 points. Mentioned a little bit in the last video. At the deadline, St. Louis was looking to move everybody. I know that Buffalo was looking to get Parayko. They traded away their captain. They traded away a ton of players. I call them the Fire Sale Blues for a reason. And once they made all those moves, it lit a fire. Like they actually became a competitive enough team to like make a push. Like there was points and times where they're only like 4 points out of a playoff position. So it's like they were able to play good enough hockey to have a chance, which I don't think anybody would have given them at the trade deadline after they gutted their entire team. But I think the future is bright for St. Louis if they're able to play that competitive level of hockey in crunch time. If they can add some pieces next year, they could be a team on the rise. I mean, if they're able to use what they have now after trading away their assets or their major pieces, then get some young hungry guys in there and maybe a couple vets. They might be able to make some noise next year. But as of now, they're eliminated. Obviously, everyone below the Blues are also eliminated. Seattle fans, man, we go back and forth on social media all the time. But as I mentioned 2-3 weeks ago, Seattle hockey's done. Seattle hockey's done. And it doesn't break my heart. I hate the Pacific Division. I hate the state of Washington, specifically Seattle. And good luck next year. Calgary, Chicago, Vancouver have been eliminated for weeks. So everything from here down, mathematically eliminated, soon to be mathematically eliminated. The only real race in the Western Conference is between these two teams. Heading to the East. Atlantic Division, Buffalo 106, Tampa Bay and Montreal each with 104. All have clinched a playoff spot. Nothing to talk about there. I mean, they've all played 80 games, so it's just going to come down to can Buffalo get a win? And if they can get a win, they clinch the division. They have more regulation wins than the other two teams. So if they can beat Chicago Blackhawks, who are all the way down here, they should be able to secure the division. That's the way I understand it. In the Metropolitan, we have the Carolina Hurricanes, 110 points, best team in the entire Eastern Conference. Pittsburgh with 98, and Philadelphia with 94 points. Philly's been playing very well lately, and they're not even a wild card team. They came from the depths of the wild card, made it all the way into third place in their division, In the wild card race, Ottawa jumps ahead of Boston because of regulation wins. They both have 96 points. Let's see it. So you got Ottawa, Boston. And then you have Columbus and Washington with 91. So these teams jump over those two teams. See what I mean? You win your games, you move up. You lose your games, you move down. That's how tight the Eastern Conference has been all year. Double check. Yep. All right. Lots of movement. Columbus with 92 points. Washington with 91 points. Detroit with 91 points. The Islanders with 91 points. New Jersey with 85 points. Eliminated. 80 points for Florida, who really played 500 hockey. We can call them a disappointment, and they are a disappointment. They've won the Eastern Conference the last 3 years in a row. But it's not like they played horrible hockey. Toronto, 78 points, and the Rangers with 75 points. So, to discuss, I'm sorry about the cat, y'all. He misses me tremendously. I'm in the garage, and he's hoping I'm inside. So we'll talk about the West, who's clinched, who hasn't. We got 2 spots really left. This entire side has clinched, including Colorado's clinched the President's Trophy, best record in hockey. Vegas and Edmonton have clinched. Mammoth, fourth place in the Central, but leading the wild card, have also clinched. So we effectively have 2 spots left. So Anaheim has 89 points. They're not exempt from LA passing them in the Pacific. They're also not totally out of the woods, falling out of the playoffs completely if they continue to play the way they do. They played 79 games. The Kings have played 79 games, and Nashville's played 80. So that is one thing in LA and Anaheim's favor, is they do have a game in hand on the Preds. Winnipeg and San Jose, as I mentioned before, are going to have to win out to even have a chance. So we'll see with them. But it's really going to come down to LA, Nashville, and Anaheim for what amounts to 2 spots. I mean, Anaheim and LA both in the Pacific Division. Either one of those teams could end up with that 3rd place spot. LA is only 2 points out of having that spot, and Nashville is on LA's trail for the final wild card. So that's pretty much what we're looking at in the West. 3 teams, 2 spots. Most likely going to be 2 Pacific Division teams, it's looking like, just because LA does have the point advantage and the game advantage on Nashville, but time will tell. We'll figure this out in the next couple of days. We'll probably have everything set in the next couple of days. I don't know if anything's going to come down to the final game of the season. I hope it does. We love that. But on to the East. The entire Atlantic Division's clinched, as I mentioned. Carolina and Pittsburgh have clinched. Ottawa and Boston have clinched. So what does that mean? That means we have 7 teams out of the 8 have clinched. The wild cards are set. Why are the wild cards set? Because all these teams are in the Atlantic Division. The Atlantic Division is one of the best divisions in hockey. The only spot that's available is the 3rd place spot, the Metropolitan Division. That's why the Red Wings are eliminated. The Red Wings are done. They're in the Atlantic Division. They have nothing, they cannot make it. There's just too many teams in their division ahead of them. So they are not going to make the wild card. And that was their only hope. The teams that are still alive in the wild card are the Columbus Blue Jackets. They're technically wild card teams, but they're playing for the 3rd place Metropolitan Division. Columbus Blue Jackets with 92 points. They played 80 games. Washington Capitals with 91 points. They have also played 80 games. And the New York Islanders with also 91 points, and they've also played 80 games. So, really, you have Philly with 94 points, Columbus with 92, Washington with 92, 91, and the New York Islanders with 91. I'll get it right eventually. 3 points separating 4 teams. We have 4 teams in one spot. Wild card settled. Teams are starting to drop off from there. But now it's coming down to 4 teams for 1 spot. I don't care for any of the teams personally. I kind of wanted to see the Islanders in it. But with Philly making their late season surge the way that they have, it's hard not to go for them. You're going to get hot in the last 10 games of the year and make a playoff push. That's hard. That's hard. And the likelihood of them playing Pittsburgh, or they're not going to fall to the wild card. They're either in their division or they're out of the playoffs completely. So they're playing Pittsburgh in the first round if they make it. Good little in-state rivalry. I mean, who doesn't love that, man? I'm all for it. So we've only got a few spots open. We've got 3 spots left, and only a very small handful of teams competing for them. And I mean, technically I could rearrange this board to reflect the actual races, but we're good. We're just going to leave it the way it is. We'll get into hots and nots, and then I'll go ahead and upload this for the 5 of you that watch these. Eastern Conference. Hottest team in the East is Ottawa, has won 4 in a row. We got a couple 3-game winners as well. We got the Buffalo Sabres have won 3, Carolina's won 3. So your division leaders as well are also in the hots. As far as last 10 hot, we got Montreal is 8-2 in their last 10. So they did lose to Columbus yesterday, but they're still 8-2 in their last 10. As far as knots, Boston has lost 5 in a row. They've clinched the playoff spot. So it is what it is. Toronto's lost 5 in a row. No big surprise there. They're horrible. In the West, we got some hots. See, hots, as far as win streaks are concerned, LA has won 4 in a row. Some knots, got a bunch of 3-game losing streaks here. San Jose, Calgary, and Chicago have all lost 3 in a row. Dallas has also won 3 in a row, so Dallas deserves some mention here in the hots. And then last 10, nothing really stands out to you too much. Winnipeg 7-3 in their last 10. Soon to be, not even matter, but 7-3. And then obviously Chicago's 2-7-1, and Vancouver is 2-8 in their last 10. So, yep, interesting stuff, guys. We got some games today, but I guess we can talk about those really quickly. Penguins Capitals. That's a huge game. That's a rematch from. I'm sorry. What the hell? Penguins and Capitals playing each other for the second day in a row in Washington. So Capitals pretty much need a win there. Islanders hosting the Canadiens. Islanders desperately need a win. Bruins and Blue Jackets. Blue Jackets. Another team that desperately needs a win. So first 3 games of the day are all those Eastern wildcard teams that are trying to catch up with the Philadelphia Flyers. Senators and Devils, doesn't matter. Ottawa's already clinched. Devils are already out. Canucks and Ducks. Ducks hosting the Canucks at home. Anaheim desperately needs a win to hold on to their 3rd place spot in the Pacific. And then the final game of the day is the Flames hosting the Mammoth. Mammoth have already clinched. Flames have been out for a long time. So we've got 6 games, and about 4 of those games are very meaningful. So make sure you